Hey everybody, Steve here. This time I'm in Munster, Indiana at the Munster Skatepark, which is what you see behind me. This park is definitely one of the older skate parks in Indiana. It's very run down and showing its age, and it's all prefabricated ramps. So you probably won't want to come here and skate this, but I'm going to show you the park anyway, so that if you do decide to come visit Munster, you can check it out. Otherwise, you probably just want to head on over to Lansing, Illinois and go to that new park. All right, let's go check it out. So I'd like to start the video by pointing out that the skate park is put on top of a asphalt parking lot. You can see the cars parked over on this side of it, and there's just like a section that's dedicated to the skate park area. But really, this just used to be a parking lot that never got used inside the big Lions Park complex, and so they decided to use some of it to give kids a place to go skate. Now, I'm sure that when these ramps were first put here, it may have been popular, but today, as you can see, there's no one around. It's also 95 degrees, and on this blacktop, it feels like 115. We see an old friend of ours in front of me. You might remember this same style jersey barrier with the tiny 1-inch coping from the Lapel, Indiana park. And they've got one of them here. So clearly somebody at both parks departments bought from the same company, and they ended up with this jersey barrier that basically is 1.5 feet of transition and about 1 foot of vert. So not ideal for skating. I don't know why anybody thought that this design would be a good idea, but here it is if you like skating jersey barriers. Next, we've got a big old 5 foot by probably about 20 foot wide quarter pipe. This thing has a very BMX friendly look to it, very difficult to get speed, and honestly, the ramp has probably been jostled around so much that it started to carve into the asphalt. So there's actually a dip right there. So basically it's not really skatable anymore, but I'm sure from a BMX perspective, it's still very much usable. Really, this obstacle would have to be pulled up off the ground. They'd need to resurface this in order to make it skatable. So unfortunately, not really skatable anymore, but now we've got a 4 foot tall, 12 foot wide bank ramp. This is actually probably still skatable. Definitely rough getting up to it, but surfacing is really smooth. It's got like the skate light material, so still in really good shape even after years and years of use in winters and things like that. So you do have that. And then we get into the middle section of the park. So first couple things in the middle, you see a rectangular flat bar, very BMX style with the foot plates and just kind of a awkward position. But this thing is about 12 inches tall and about 12 feet long. So pretty standard square flat bar, and definitely easy to lock into from a 50-50 perspective. The only problem again is the ground. But you know, if this is your only thing to really skate around here, it's not a bad thing to learn on. I just would probably have more fun with it if the ground were better. Then we've got a manual pad kind of out ledge obstacle thing, if you will. This thing is about 14 inches tall on the lower side and skates like an 8 foot long box. Pretty straightforward there. Then you've got a little wedge ramp that I think you're meant to maybe clear the flat or something like that, but it's really kind of too long for that. So it's really just a roll on and then drop off the end of it. Good for kids to learn, I guess, but not something that I would really want to skate. But you could skate it like a bump to ledge here. So this thing is about 2 feet tall or so, and the wedge ramp here makes it about 1 foot on. So you could get onto that and grind off the end if you wanted to do that. Now you've got probably the biggest single obstacle in the park, and it's this like fun box thing. So first thing you see is a 14-inch tall ledge that's about 10 feet long, maybe 12 feet long or so, and can skate like a manual pad if you want to. Coping's in okay shape, shows its age, but still smooth enough if you put a little bit of wax on it. Then you've got these bank ramps and pyramid. You can see in front of me there's a Euro gap that's about 8 inches off the slant ramp, so super easy to get up onto if you want. And then if you're coming the other end, it's a little bit taller. But these wedge ramps are maybe, this is like 2.5 feet or so, and then the taller part's maybe 3 feet. So really not huge. Very accessible dimensions, in my opinion, kind of your standard stuff that you would find at a prefab park. Then you've got a step up and down rail combo. This thing is same dimensions pretty much as the one that I showed you that's a flat bar, although in the middle part it's a bit taller. So this is about 18 inches tall. And then the slant is maybe similar height, maybe a little bit lower, but nice and long, so it does feel mellow. But I you know, this is the type of thing that skaters don't really skate anymore, in my opinion. I think times have changed, and maybe this was more friendly for BMX back in the day. Then finally, you've got a spine with shotgun barrel coping on the top of it. So you got that dual-sided stuff that's about 2.5 inches wide or so, 3-inch diameter. And again, very straightforward, about a 3-foot tall spine. But you can see in front of me, even though it's like 95 degrees today, there's a lot of water drainage issues. It rained last night, but still is not dried out. So water will just sit there and stand. So drainage is not particularly good, making this difficult to skate on some days. And then the last obstacle in the middle of the park is this kinked rail. I see these a lot in BMX style parks that were built in like the early 2000s. But you've got this excessively long flat bar with a kink in the middle that's square. Obviously the ground is terrible, but you could lock into this, grind down it if you want or whatever. But really, I think times have changed, and this is not the type of thing that people seek out to skate anymore. But this thing is probably, I would say, almost 30 feet long from end to end. So if you want to do some crazy grind, have at it. You've got this at the Munster Park. 2 more obstacles and we're done. See in front of me a 12-foot wide, 4-foot tall quarter pipe. Again, standard BMX obstacle. And then on the other side, you've got a bank ramp with a 3-foot quarter in the middle. The bank ramp is about 4 feet tall, but a lot longer and mellower. So you do have maybe a little bit more setup time and can do tricks to fakie and all that stuff. It's not as steep as the other 4-foot bank ramp that I showed you earlier. And you could, you know, obviously carve around this 3-foot quarter here in the middle that's about 6 feet wide. So just outdated setup, but no real issues with it. I would say all of the ramps, granted I haven't inspected all the screws everywhere, but all the ramps are in actually pretty good shape given just the general condition of the foundation and just the style of the obstacles. So yeah, take it. So that does it for the Lions Park Skate Park in Munster, Indiana. I hope you found this video informative. I completely understand if you have no desire to come check out this skate park. Maybe one day Munster will hire like Spawn Ranch or Hunger to come build them a fresh new concrete park. But until that day comes, we've got this prefabricated park here. But if you have any questions about the park, just drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, I will see you in the next skate park tour video.